morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Friday, brought to you by Reckless Coffee Roasters. And it's Friday, so it is time to be reckless, and a lot to be reckless about. No Kazi, he's still traveling the world on vacation, which we'll get to with all the vacations coming up. There might be some schedule changes coming headed your way, but Anana's here on time, twice in a row, so the streak is on. What's happening?
I am just as confused as you are. That's all
Yes.
I'm going to say. I can't believe it, but listen, change is good. We got changes in the club, so we had to make some changes here, and I had to be here on time or I was going to get fired. So
That too, that helps. A little incentive does not hurt anyone. So yes, finally we heard from, and let's say it all together now, Arne Slot. And we were talking about it right before I went on air. I would not want to be the guy in the press conference asking him questions and calling him Arnie or something like that. It could get ugly. What did you make from the interview, aside from the fact that he does make a little bit of a stink? I mean, I have a really tricky name that people butcher on a regular basis. So I kind of let everything slide until it's like way off, where I'm like, dude, I don't even know how you got that. Otherwise, if you get close, I let it slide. It sounded like he made a pretty big, decent stink out of that. That's what his name is.
it just, he wants to be called the right thing. And he cares about his name, so I'm just gonna leave it at that because I thought that was weird. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. The guy wants to be called the right thing, so let's just please call him the right thing. It looks like it could be really bad if somebody calls him the wrong things. And if you can't figure out what to say, just call him. There's the special one, the normal one. Just call him the bald one, just to avoid any issues with his name. But overall, it's a good press conference. He disappeared for a while. Oh, well, he didn't even disappear, just never showed up.
Yeah.
And then when he came, I'd say it was worth the wait. It was a good press conference overall. I like his confidence. I like how excited he is to be at the club. And mentioned City a little too much, but I still think overall the guy's excited to be here. And listen, I was confident, okay, when he got hired, but I'm not gonna be that guy to pretend to know everything about him or his style of play. Jesus. But when I saw that press conference, whatever this guy's going to do is going to work out, man. I'm telling you, his confidence is just next level. The smile on his face the whole time, the excitement to be there, the readiness to work. I think people are in for a big surprise, and I think Arne Slot is going to do a great job.
Jesus Christ. The first time you tried, it's not even right.
Arne.
So Arne, I mean, I don't know, really. That's odd that you say that. For example, I mean, I watched the press conference, and I was like, exactly, this is what I was talking about for weeks. We learned nothing for the most part. We did get a little sense of my guess. I know what you mean there. Did you get that sense? Because I almost got the sense that I mean, I don't know. I think from what I know, you've been in similar situations too, where you're kind of going from something established to, like in our work lives, going somewhere where it's a whole new setup. So there's a mixed emotion of excitement and the newness with a hint of worry sprinkled on top, if you will.
So what I like what he did is how he compared Feyenoord to Liverpool. And he said it's a similar city. The people are the same. They work on the docks. They're working class people. He's already making a relationship with his previous job to his current job to let the people know, I've been there. I know what you want. That little comparison that he did wasn't to, for us to know that he likes the docks, right? It was to let us know that he knows what the people want, because a lot of the people would always say Jurgen knew what the people want. Jurgen knew what the people need. He's trying to make that connection by letting them know, listen, I did this exact same thing before. I worked the same job. I worked in a similar city, so I got you. So I like that little bit of connection that he made. It's not a press conference that's telling. It's not something where he talks about, I'm going to do this and this. No, it's just a confidence-building press conference because the PR team probably got everything ready. He told him what to say before it
Except the
starts.
last question, because he said I wasn't ready for this one. That he did not see that beach ball. Like,
They were like, okay, PR, curveball, and he's like, oh shit. Yeah, so that tells you that this wasn't going to be the press conference that you know does everything. This was just the icebreaker. So Jurgen's first press conference, he went on his own, talked about being the normal one. He did all that. This one's a little different. The club has just moved on from one of the most charismatic people it's ever had,
yeah,
and we're just never going to see anything like that again.
yeah,
So we got to just deal with what we got, and the confidence is there. I felt that he's building that connection, like I said, and now, yeah, and he's officially also our coach, so that's good news. But also, most importantly, I think his confidence is there, and I think this guy is going to take this club forward. He mentioned we're going to get more than 86 points. He made these references that the fans wanted to hear. He knew what to say and when
yeah.
to say it, and overall, for me, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I think when he's getting questions that he hasn't seen on the script, it could be a lot different. And will I think get a? I mean, it's a lot easier to be confident when you know the questions coming and you can just like slap them down. But
Yep.
he did mention, like he did refer to Klopp a lot of times, and the fact that they talked, which is always kind of awkward. And I like when he said, and like I say, been there, done that, where you go somewhere and you are talking to the guy who was in charge over there. You want to get a little feel, but you almost don't want to hear anything because one, more than likely, there's a reason now you're here, right? Good or bad, and two, that's the chance. I don't know, when the manager changes. I think this is true for players as well. It's your chance for a fresh start. So you
Yeah.
don't want to start with a new manager under the same assumptions and misconceptions or whatever it might be. So in some ways, I like what he said, that he did talk to Klopp to get like a feel of things, but he wants to make his mind up about things. And he explained, why he came late and respect the Klopp and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing that we should probably be happy about, Anan, as Liverpool fans, is it's very, very seamless the way it happened. It's almost like we took it for granted how smooth this entire process was for a 6-month farewell tour into a new guy that everybody is like confident with.
Yeah, and you said something right when you go to the new place and you talk to the guy that's leaving, and you not always want to hear their answer. Sometimes their answer is like, "Oh, this is the most toxic place ever," and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm not going there." The good news is Jurgen had a very simple answer. I want to go see Taylor Swift. Like I'm busy. So our new manager is like, "Oh, he just wants to go see Taylor Swift. This isn't bad." But no, Jurgen loves the club, and I'm sure when he called him and he spoke with him, he let him know, listen, I'm just tired. This has nothing to do with this place, but this is the place for you. And I like that. He also did say he only spoke with Virgil because he's the captain. Here's what I didn't like. He said also because he's Dutch. I'm Dutch, so I spoke to him. This is
No, he said it was easier.
It was easier.
Yeah.
Oh, also he's Dutch.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, so we're only gonna buy Dutch players, and the other non-Dutch will not play. No, but I just thought that was random that he said that. But it is the club captain. He could have been Dutch. He could have been. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter where he's from. He would have spoken to him. He's the club captain. But that tells you he's already made that connection. And then a few days ago, that article came out that Virgil wants a new contract and he likes to stay at the club. So it tells me that this conversation was very positive. They had a good conversation, and we're gonna do fine. So overall, I'm happy with it all. I'm glad to see him, and that bald head is so shiny. The light was like gonna freaking bounce off of it. I thought that was the greatest. And he, his first thing is like, "Sorry, I was on holiday," as you can see, because he's got a tan, and I was like, "Jesus, man!" But yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy, and I'm confident, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it was like, how many layers of poly you got on that
Yeah.
thing? Like, yeah. See, that's interesting. You said that. I kind of took that as he mentioned talking to him, and it was, it was easier because he was Dutch. It almost sounds like he's very concerned about having the first interaction with players over the phone, because first impressions last, right? So, and phone is slightly better than texting, but still a lot can be, especially when you're not speaking in your or like original language and stuff like that, there could be a lot of like misunderstandings, and you hang up, you were like, well, that was freaking weird, but the other
Yeah.
guy didn't mean to say that and stuff. It sounded like he was very worried about that, so he was almost relieved that the guy that he had to call happened to be Dutch, so he did not have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean that could also be it. That's the comfort of having the same native tongue and have understanding the same culture and everything. So he knows what the hello means and what the bye means, and it's just like, why is this guy yelling hello? Like, no, it's just how we talk, man. Like um. So yeah, overall, good stuff, exciting. I think. Listen, I think this guy has a plan, and I think it's gonna work out, and I think we're gonna be very happy we brought him on board.
Something Sir Z mentioned, and I think that was interesting. So I do want to go back to that in the comments. That yeah, Edward, it was a lot of Hughes references, but not a lot of Edwards references. And the fact that they were in constant communication, that there was a lot being done, and being talked about in terms of like transfers and stuff like that. So it's not like they were just like sitting around waiting, which we kind of like knew. But I don't know, man. Like you hear these things, and like how he talks about stuff. I really think we take things for granted because it seems like a very, very professional and organized process with, everybody in their own thing. Because he did address the fact about, being a head coach and, stuff like that, and not being like the manager, being a coach and stuff like that, which he said is pretty much the same thing in Netherlands. But he seems very comfortable with the setup, because there's one thing to be not have full authority over what you do, but if you're really confident with the people who are, then it almost feels like you're in charge as well.
Yeah. The lack of Edwards mention, I think, is requested by Edwards. Edwards does not like to be in the
I'm not here. He's
yeah, yeah, he doesn't like to be mentioned. So I met him here in the U.S. and a couple of people went up to him to get pictures, and he said, "No, there's no need. Thank you, though." He just doesn't like. Yeah, he just doesn't like to be in the light. He doesn't like to be the highlight. He just likes to stay away. He likes to not be that guy. So
I like the explanation where he says there is no need. I already have pictures. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, hey, Edwards, can we get a picture? No, I got a couple. No, of us. Yeah, I don't want them. No, he just gives me that vibe that he just doesn't like to be in the spotlight. He just likes to be as far away as possible. He likes to do his job in silence, and I like that about him. Like you hear nothing, and then boom, Michael Edwards just negotiated this deal. Like, wait, what? When? Okay, cool. And then it's just that's what I like about the guy. But yeah, it also shows what kind of structure there is. When you work in a company or whatever it is, and you have an org structure that is clear and people understand what everybody does, it makes everybody's life easier. You know where to go when you need this. You know where to go when you need that. You know where to go when something is not on you. You know who takes care of it. Everybody owns their part of the business or the job. And at the end of the day, this is a business. This is a job. So the manager knows what he needs to own. Edward knows what he needs to own. Hughes knows what he needs to own. And they all do it. And they work collectively to create a perfect flowing org structure. And I think that's amazing. I'm excited to see it go to work. And again, very positive. Like my attitude changed so much when I saw the guy speak and I saw how excited he is. Very positive, and I think we're gonna have a great season. And Sabosla is gonna win the Milan the R.
Well, okay, now it got really derailed towards the end there. So he says all these rumors and podcasts we watch have been about Edwards wants this player, etc. Shots fired, by the way. Hughes has a bigger say than we give him credit. I think here's the deal. Like, these are people who are going to work together, and I don't know, like Hughes was brought there by Edwards. So there's a certain understanding of what Hughes knows what Edwards wants. So if you're walking to the big guy's office with something that you need signed and stamped and approved, you better know that it's going to be approved. So you're like, I just need your signature because I know you're going to be cool with this. I think Edwards is probably not mentioned because he's the guy behind the scenes, but I think Hughes already knows that's a good collective thing about working together, right? Like you already know what the other guy is going to want and say, because it's been talked about, like you're on the same page going into the situation.
Yeah, and he's going to walk into the office with that paper knowing that the final say goes to Edwards, not him. Yeah. Like, here, guy, I did the work. You tell me if it's a go or a no-go. This is the relationship they have, or I think they have. I don't know. But this is what I think they have, and I think this is what's going to flow. And I believe that at the end of the day, the trigger is pulled by Edwards and not Hughes and not Slot and not anybody else. Edwards pulls the trigger at anything we're going to do for the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, he has the final say, and then you bring a guy under to do the work, and you have trust. Sometimes I'm sure you've had assistants in the past that you're so confident that you're on the same page that he's going to make a decision that you're going to make anyway if you were there.
Yeah.
So I think that's the relationship they have, it seems like, and that's why it's a smooth transition. This is really smart by FSG, because it was going to be impossible to replace Klopp with a person, and we've basically replaced them with a system that looks like it's going to work well. I mean, it's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about it. Obviously, Edwards' past says a lot by itself. Now we heard Arna's talk, so there's that confidence coming from there. And his background, I think a lot of the things that you were mentioning too, like in terms of, Feyenoord being similar, the environment being similar, clubs being similar, the playing style being similar. But he did mention that, like obviously it's not going to change altogether, but there will be some adjustments and stuff like that. It seems like the momentum is going to continue in terms of like this team improving and getting better.
Yeah. And exactly, sometimes that assistant comes in and says, here's what I think. I know you may not like it, but I think this might work out, and it makes you stop and think about it.
Yep.
But also a lot of the times they come in and say, what, I agree with you, and I think we're both on the same page. So we're in for a fun summer, and I think the first signing that we make will show us what these guys have worked on, because I guarantee you're sitting down watching the Euro and the Copa America, and they're doing their work and they're seeing what's out there, and we don't know. We could, be in for a shock move. The beauty of their work is usually it's silent, and boom, what we know about Michael Edwards. So that could be what we see happening. So we'll see. I'm excited, man. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like, I highly doubt anybody watched that, and maybe they didn't get as excited as you are. I was more like, okay, this is what I kind of expected, and I think that's why everybody was like, oh, we got to hear from him. We got to hear from him. I mean, you were not going to hear where he's going to use Trent and stuff like that. This is what you were going to hear, and I think there was nothing alarming in terms of what we heard. So
yes,
that was the only, I think, like the biggest positive. So he says, seems like Ana wants to eat more donuts. Soboslai stock is dropping quicker than some cryptocurrency. Yes, he's not having the best of. I mean, he's not, apart from some set pieces where he has taken some great set pieces and put the ball in place. I see a lot of the Soboslai that can be very frustrating with like some very, very simple misplaced passes that turn out to be ridiculous counterattacks. So I guess apparently it is a part of his game that's, somehow has to be worked out. Because I saw at least 3-4 instances this last game of Hungary, and I was like, ugh, this is like what frustrates us, because it's not only everybody's going to have a misplaced pass, but it feels like when he makes an error, because he's the one building the play, he really puts the back line under pressure instantly the moment he loses that ball.
Yeah. I
that sounded painful. It's like, yeah.
His form continues to drop, and I don't know what's happening, but I have full faith that he'll pick back up and he'll go back to where he was earlier last season. So again, I'm positive, I'm excited, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we saw it wasn't just like dumb luck when he first came onto the scene and played excellent. You saw so many things that I was like, man, he's going to be really good. I think everybody said that. If you're saying right now that you didn't think he was all that, you're lying, because everybody was like pretty excited about not only like, the goals and stuff like that. You saw him do things in the game. I had the same feeling about McAllister as well. Like, you see some things, even when they don't work, when he was playing the 6, for example, for McAllister, you were like, man, this guy he's solid. Like, this is a good move, kind of a thing. And I feel the same way about Szoboszlai. He will come right, as they say. Sorry. Szoboszlai has looked as bad as England. So we got to talk about this. The difference is,
I've been waiting
badly to not having Phillips. I heard something about, did he really say something about Phillips, by the way?
He really did say we are struggling to find a Calvin Phillips replacement. He really did say that on live television.
Like he's dead.
Followed up by, and we're trying at Trent in different places.
But, so let's go to that. And I know there's gonna be a lot of like going to Trent and stuff like that. Everybody was already evaluating it. I mean, even me, who is not a proponent of Trent playing in midfield, and partially because I think that's the only thing I regularly see that I'm like, hey, this is why I don't want him to play midfield. Because he's not as comfortable getting the ball with his back to the goal. He wants to be able to see the whole field. You lose that huge diagonal when he's in the center because that diagonal is not there now, whereas it is there when he's a right back, even if he's inverted. I mean, those are my reasons. People look at this game and I don't even understand. Here's the thing, like, it does not look like, even though he's in midfield, it doesn't look like you're trying to get. I find it hard to evaluate his midfield performance because it's like, what the hell is going on over here? Like, it's not even like he's the focus. So he's not like, pulling away to come get the ball. It would be one thing if they used Trent in midfield and he occasionally came back, got in between the two center backs, right? To get the ball, to build play. No, he's like in the middle, lost between guys, and Rice is trying to do something. He's misplacing a ball. So I was like, this is not even a good evaluation because he's not being used correctly if he is to be used as a midfielder.
And he came out in the 54th minute with the stat that he has created the most chances for England. So you took out your guy that's creating the most chances for you in a half, so you can have a scapegoat and so you can have a story to tell after the game. Southgate is an idiot. And I actually respected him, even though he always made the wrong choices when it comes to squad selection. But here's the thing. He made the right squad selection this time, but all the wrong decisions. I mean, nothing is right. You've got Anthony Gordon, you've got Cole Palmer. They haven't touched the pitch for a second. And those are two guys performing in the league. I mean, how is Cole Palmer not playing? You go out in these games and you need a goal, and you're not playing Cole Palmer. I know yesterday people were telling me, oh, come on, you're acting like he's a game changer. He had the most goal involvements in the Premier League last season.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's not Messi or Ronaldo or the name isn't huge. You give him a chance. You let him try. But then you do all this and you play a midfield of Rice, Bellingham, and Trent. And these three guys are obviously three guys that haven't played together, but also each one of them is out of position. What do you expect?
Yeah.
And then his system became just give the ball to Jude and pray. Like, dude, that's not it. And then Harry Kane's up front asking for the ball, but nobody can understand him anyway. So it's just a big, big mess. And it's a lot of confusion going on. The first game, he touches the ball twice. The second game, he's barely even getting involved in the play. This England team has all the talent, but zero tactics. And I wish
it feels like we have all these guys. I mean, come on, guys. Here's the ball. Let's just make it happen.
And I think that's what he does. He's like, oh, lads, there's a ball. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yes, or something.
Good job, lads. Like, I don't know. It breaks my heart to see one of the most talented England squads struggle like this. I mean, after the game, Trippier just went down on his knees and he was just like almost going to cry. And then Kyle Walker came out with a stupid interview. Oh, well, you guys are looking at it in a negative way. We're first in the group. Yeah, because you won the first game against Serbia and you drew your fucking second game against Denmark. It's not because you're out blowing everyone. So relax. I'm an England fan and I'm very disappointed. Yesterday was blood boiling. I mean, when the camera went on Palmer and Gordon, I was like, oh, how I wish. Like, you're playing Trent without
me, or they look like England looked the last 5 to 10 minutes. They looked more than content with a draw, which in terms of a tournament, I understand. It just is not a good look when, they looked very confident. It was taking like a minute, to take a set piece, like a free kick from their own half. And what was up with Pickford the last time? Like, kept coming to midfield like it was Everton's and he was going to just load it into the box. And then they weren't even using him. He just passed it next to him to Kyle Walker. I was like, why did you come all the way over here?
Well, that's what I think it was the Sky Sports reporter. She asked Kyle Walker, she's like, did the manager tell you to just sit back and settle for the draw? Like, she straight up asked him that. He's like, no, he tells us to attack. Like, you're full of shit. Either you guys don't listen to him or you're a liar.
Then fucking do it.
Yeah, because do it. Like, this guy makes the first change in the game and he takes out Trent and he fucking puts in Gallagher. You know what Gallagher's season highlight is? Running super fast and going and showing some heart. Like, what the fuck are we going to do with heart? Like, he offers nothing to the game. Gallagher's like, the American Gattuso, he's just gonna run and
Yeah.
boom, gotcha. What are we gonna do with that? It's you're trying to win a game. You're not trying to show us your ripped socks and do all that bullshit. So uh, I'm very upset.
I can
See, I
tell.
just went
I
from
can
I'm
tell.
very
I mean, I
happy to
personally, to
very
be fair, I
upset.
find it more entertainment watching, and people going like crazy is more entertainment to me because I have no horse in the race. I'm like, I don't care what they do personally. I mean, I was there to see more how Trent does in that position, but like I say, I even find it hard to evaluate it because I don't think it's like what he has up top doesn't make sense because Kane
Yes.
keeps dropping, and it's
Yes.
not like the wingers are trying to get behind; they're more trying to get wide. So that's not really helping Trent either. So when he looks up, there's no one there, and then even if he does, I don't know, man. It's like weird because I just don't see him as that playmaker because he does not have the tendency to kind of like get open. Like he gets lost in between guys, like in
Yeah.
the midfield. So he does not pull out to get open and stuff. But it almost seemed like he was not asked to. But when he doesn't do that, when he's in midfield, and this is my fear, when Trent is in midfield and you're not using his creativity from midfield, he's literally looks like he's just walking around. So I
Yeah, he's
know
just
if you're
chilling.
not a Liverpool fan and if you don't already like Liverpool and stuff, it's very easy to look at Trent and be like, he's not doing anything, he's just walking around. So I understand why some people have a specific like a Trent agenda who are not
Yeah.
Liverpool fans and stuff like that. I get that part, but it's almost like I find them hard to blame because if you're just looking at the game, it does look like he's just walking around because he's not put in a situation where he's supposed to pull back to receive the ball. Harry Kane is coming back to receive the ball, but not Trent. Like
Well, what
he's
makes it worse is your manager is throwing you under the bus after the game. So people already have an agenda. Come the
yeah.
50th minute, you're being substituted for the second game in a row. And then after the game, he's like, yeah, we're trying different things with Trent because we haven't found a Calvin Phillips replacement. What? Calvin Phillips played like 4 seconds in the league this season and 2 minutes last year. What are you replacing? Like the way he makes this Calvin Phillips story seem like, oh, it's I'm not the issue. We just don't have Calvin Phillips is bullshit. You're a national team manager. You can't find a replacement for one midfielder who just had one good tournament in his whole life, and other than that, he's been shit. Like,
Yeah.
what? Excuses, bullshit, stupidity. And I was talking about this yesterday on Twitter. Ivory Coast at the African Cup of Nation, they fired their manager halfway through it because they weren't performing. Brought in a new manager and won the damn thing. Now, I'm not saying
Yeah, but
England's going to do it because
yeah,
England play things safer than Southgate does, but I would want this guy out faster than the speed of light. He did such a great job at Middlesbrough back in the day where people thought this is the next big thing. And I liked him at Middlesbrough. He had Stuart Downing, he had a good team. He built that team. But it wasn't that team, it wasn't that kind of management where you're like, oh yeah, this guy should take the national team to the next level. No. But it's England. You're going from Roy Hodgson. It's not like you're going from, they fired Capello for playing too defensive, but still winning games. I mean, this is a federate. Nothing makes sense anymore.
yeah, it does not. I mean, like I say, the problem with him has been the team is, I think, so good that even if you just rolled the ball out there and like wrote on a piece of paper, like if I managed it from my room over here and like email the starting 11 and say, just give him a ball and let's see what happens, they're going to advance in a lot of situations. They're going to qualify and stuff like that. So I know I'm diminishing what he does.
Yeah.
But let's face it. I mean, that's the squad. So the squad is so good that even if you're lacking, they're going to advance and they're going to look pretty decent.
Yeah.
And he gets kind of like credit for some of that. I mean, Saida says Trent is the only player with good creative skills. He lacks an aggressive DM next to him. Here's the problem. If you're using Trent as an 8, and this is the problem I have, and this is why I keep saying this. If you're using him as an 8, and he has to drop back to get the ball. He is not a guy who's going to get the ball in traffic and do something with it. So if he's dropping, that aggressive 6 is next to him, the back 4 is next to him, there's not a lot of people left up top to pass the ball to and advance the ball to. And that's why it's a problem. That's why I think his creativity, you're better off using that aggressive DM to cover for him defensively So he can attack from his right back position. He can be inverted or whatever the case is. So while I find it really hard to evaluate his midfield performance from the shitty setup, I think some of the things I see within the game itself tells me he is just not as comfortable receiving the ball, not facing the opposing goal. That's one. And in traffic. And two, I feel like now he feels like he has to create something.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of misplaced passes because he's trying to get that perfect Trent pass and almost like forcing.
Now, how
something.
crazy is it? They still had the most chances created for the team.
Yes.
Even when he's forcing it, he's had the most created chances
But
for
I
the
think
team.
he's the only one taking those chances.
Right. But that's exactly it, because you've got Bellingham, who I love, but he wants to dribble everybody. He wants to do everything on his own. I mean, Bellingham has, especially in the game yesterday, it felt like he has it's all about me syndrome, because he would get the ball and he would try to dribble 4 people. And listen, it worked. But then he would no finishing product and not making the pass, or making the pass too late when it gets cut. That's a problem. So nobody was trying to take the chances of creating a chance for others.
Yeah.
Trent does it, creates the most chances, has the highest success rate in passes in midfield, and then he takes him out. And he puts on Gallagher, who is, with all love and respect, who is a Henderson 2.0. He likes to take the ball and just like pass it back or pass it sideways, and he doesn't even look up front. He doesn't see what's in front of him.
He's a ball winner. I mean, he's just a ball winner.
Yeah. But so what are we doing? It's 1-1. You're trying to win the game. Make it seem like it. Go with 2 up top. Why are you still playing it safe? Well, oh, it is Southgate. Yeah. Never mind.
I think the thing was, he tried to get the midfield back because Denmark was owning the midfield.
Yep.
What I do not understand, and this is 2 games in a row now, it drives me nuts when a manager makes a substitution on like early 50s, like 50, I think 52 is when like Trent came out and stuff.
Yeah.
But then why didn't you do it at halftime? Like, what did you expect to see totally differently? Did the other guy not get ready and warm up? You couldn't find his shoes or something? Because why are you like, they didn't change anything. And they were like, let's see if something different happens. Nope. Same thing that happened the last 35 minutes is still happening. I guess we're going to have to make a sub. I just don't understand that concept at all.
And I don't want to go for that theory that's all over social media, but I will. He has Trent as his scapegoat. He wants everyone to see that's the problem. I'm fixing it. This way, if England go on and get another goal, boom, told you he's the problem. If they don't, it was too late. I played him too long and I need Calvin Phillips. Literally what he did. I mean, horrendous management. And I can't wait for him to go. I mean, honestly, Neil Warnock would do better at this point.
I just don't know why you would. I mean, I'm trying to think of it. Like I say, I personally don't care. Don't have a race in the horse. I just wanted to see him perform in midfield and see if I'm wrong on certain things, or like he plays differently when he starts as a midfield and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm watching for. That's what I want to see. It's impossible to see in this crazy setup. You can get a good evaluation out of it, but I still feel like it enforces some of the concerns I have. Having said that, it's just like odd where you would. I'm thinking of like if it's Turkey, right? And you take, I don't know, you take Arda and make him a right back, or you take, a guy who has never played that position, and you're like, you know what? In this tournament, here's how we're gonna test this out in this tournament, kind of an ordeal. If it was like, and that's what drives me nuts. And I think that's why you are probably right. He is almost made the scapegoat, but I think a lot of people, whether they're Liverpool fans or not, realize that you're playing him in a position that's not his.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not fair to evaluate him. It's like you're not going to put Kane on the wing and then be like, dude, you're not as fast as Saka. I mean, like, it just doesn't work.
I mean, you're putting him up top and he ain't doing shit anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised what he's going to do on the wing. But yeah, exactly. It's like you're going in this big tournament where you have high expectations. You're the third, you're the betting odds third place favorite to win the thing. And then you got Southgate. It just doesn't work. And you're taking this young guy and you're putting him in a new position in a big tournament, in a very young midfield without that much experience in big tournaments, and you're saying, go do it. That's not how it works. It won't work. I'd rather see him at right back for the third game if he's going to play, or just honestly, don't play him, because you're hurting him. You're making it worse for the guy who has a whole season to go to after this under a new manager. And then what's the new manager watching this and saying, like, what the fuck is going on with Trent? It's a big thing. But listen, I've hated Southgate for a while now. So I don't want to keep going and ranting on and on. But I saw somebody said if Southgate has a Ferrari, he would drive it 10 miles per hour. That's
Yeah.
how these things are true about him because he doesn't want to take risks. And that's not a national team manager. Somebody that doesn't take risks, it's just not it.
I mean, Ryan, I think, was mentioned in the comments earlier. Yeah, right here. Spain, which is very odd. And yeah, you watch Spain. I know Italy is not that good. I knew they were going to. I actually thought they would have an easier time, and they probably should have. They did have a lot more chances to, and just could not finish. But it is interesting watching Spain because they do not look disconnected. They look like I don't know what it is. Because it is still people from all over the place, but they do play like they play regularly. Whereas you watch a lot of international teams and there's a natural disconnect at times just because that's why these tournaments are a bit more fun because, who's going to have the least disconnect kind of an order.
Right. Well, so when we talked about it 2 weeks ago of who we think would win, I went with Spain, Germany.
You went with 6 teams, I remember. Yeah.
No, 4. But I want to take the 4th team, which was England. I want to put them in the trash bin. And instead of England, I'm fucking taking Romania because I'm so pissed right now. But the reason why I went with Spain is that's a young team that's still learning. So whatever manager comes in and tells them what to do, they're young boys, so they're gonna do it. They're going to want to impress the manager, but also they're going to want to improve. And most importantly, we're young. So tell us what to do and we'll do it. This is the special thing about you've got 16-year-olds in there. One of the kids was at risk of not playing the game because he didn't do his homework. What are we doing? Like, he's 16. And then he goes out there and he's playing on the right wing and he's making the Italian gentlemen who are in their 25s, 26 look like they're working in a fucking bakery. I mean, this guy is talented. But then you got Nico Williams on the other side. And then you've got a little bit of, I would say, experience indulged in there of like Morata, Carvajal. These players are playing in and they look so connected. I feel like whoever posted that comment, that's the best representation I've seen of the Spain team because they look like a club team. They look like they've been playing with each other for the past 10 years, even though some of those guys just made their debuts. I mean,
but this is like amazing to watch. Like Ajax or somebody like that. Like a lot of young guys with 2-3 really old, experienced guys like Carvajal and Morata and stuff like that. But sprinkled with a ton. Yeah, by the way, I was watching Williams yesterday, and I was just going to come in and just for shits and giggles, I was going to put like hashtag announce. Oh, that was a beautiful goal, by the way, just now. Scored.
Try not to watch. Got yelled at for being on my phone.
Well, that's why when you get a dual screen, you can kind of like look at the same time over.
Oh, here. Ukraine scored?
Ukraine just scored. That was like a beautiful pass and a goal. But so they actually turned that game around, and that's a very interesting group. Actually, it's like I kind of knew it would be because it can go any way. It's not like the other groups where somebody has to get a point and stuff. But going back to Spain, I thought I was gonna put like hashtag announce Williams or something like that. The way he was playing. And then I go into one of the groups and somebody was like, we should really sign him and stuff like that. But he looked great. Like, I mean, he was just a terror on that left-hand side.
Yes.
You have that other kid on the right-hand side. Yeah, they definitely look a solid team. And they're like fun to watch. I mean, it is it's not slow.
My thing was how much fun I had watching the game. It just felt like that good old Spanish side with Iniesta, Xavi, David Villa, Fernando Torres, and then you've got it felt that way. It felt really good to watch. And this kind of football we don't see very often these days.
But this even confidence. The tiki-taka can get because I mean, obviously they're trying to bore the other team into just giving up and saying, you know what, just score already. We're sick of watching you. Well, this team plays a lot faster.
Yeah, the other thing. Italy wasn't really, I mean, they played a game that they weren't really going for it till the last 10 minutes. They did the basic, typical Italian things, the Spalletti thing of just sit back and just wait for the counter. And they did it so much where if you watch the game, you saw how many mistakes they had playing the ball from the back, trying to build a counterattack. How many times did, win the ball, pass it back, Donnarumma makes a bad pass. Then Natali makes a bad pass. Spain cut it, and they almost score multiple times. Because he just wanted to rely on building from the back and playing the counterattack. Doesn't work against a fast team like Spain. And you look at their bench, they got more experience. Jesus Navas. Dude, I was so confused when Ayoze Perez came on. Remember Ayoze? He used to play for Newcastle and Leicester. He comes on. I was like, wait a minute. Compared to these guys, he's like a grandpa. He's 30. And
Yep.
he comes on and then he megs the guy and almost scores a goal. I'm like, wow, maybe that's why Perez is on the squad. Very well distributed team. Everybody did well, and they're getting along just fine. And this is a team that can go far. I think their only problem in this tournament is Germany because of how physical Germany has been.
Yes.
Other than that, Spain can go all the way and just do this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, it's still kind of early, but
Oh yeah,
Ryan says that's typically, honestly, Italy played Turkey in a friendly before, and you could kind of tell, and they won 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that. But it looked like they could not break down a defense, because I know Turkey's defense is not that good. They just could not break it down. Then you watch that Albania game. I still think if Albania does not score in the 23rd second or whatever they did, that game is probably 0-0.
100%.
Because they basically scored. They were like, wait, what? We're ahead now? And by the time they realized what the hell was going on, they kind of lost their shape. Italy scores 2. And then Albania was like, guys, back to the plan. And then that game ended. Like,
And then
Italy couldn't
0
do it
again. Yeah, that's why I was like yesterday. I'm like, there's no sense of urgency. They were just like, hey, it's okay. Yeah, they score a goal, we score a goal, and then they just didn't go score a goal, and and they didn't want to until the end. Like,
I think they were like really afraid to leave like spaces behind to Williams and stuff like
and
that. And rightfully so, because he was terrorizing them. But yes, I mean, I know it's still early going, but they definitely look like the best playing team right now. The Germans, we know the thing with Germany compared to Spain, and you can spread this across several decades in an odd way, right? Is Germans can play like crap and get a result. And
what
not
was
a lot
that
of
saying?
national teams do that.
What was that saying? There was a famous saying about the Germans and
Is that gay? Like football is just a sport where people kick the ball out in 90 minutes and at the end Germans win or something.
yes.
And that's what I mean. That's the thing. Germany can play a really poor game, but you can still see them winning it. Whereas I feel like if Spain has a rough game, they won't pull it off. It's just a weird German thing. I don't know if it's the discipline they go at it. I don't know what it is.
Well, so that's where I said Germany could be the team that beats them because of physicality, but also experience and organization. The German team is so experienced. I think the average age on that team is 29 or 30. You got Gundogan, you got Kroos, you've got guys who have been Muller is like 30 something. And every time I watch him, I was like, oh, it always feels like he's still 20, but like he's like 47 now, right? But like they've got the experience in the team, and then you got Neuer, you've got these guys that are playing in there that have this experience, that have been there, and most importantly, how organized they are. I mean, you see how organized that team is. You're like, holy shit, they're like they do call them a machine. But I was gonna say they're like a machine, but that's literally what they call them. It's like a machine that's well oiled together and does everything as a unit. That's a nice look. And I think that would be the hard thing for Spain, because Spain is still young and they're still learning each other, even though they're doing so well. But if you get one organized team that stops you in the middle, it's toast. It's good night. It's game over. So we'll see, because I mean, pace and skill and speed might be able to beat that organization. We don't know until we see that game happen. But boy, what a game that would be, man.
That would be a fun game, actually. You're right. That would be a really fun game to watch, because it does feel like they kind of can attack each other in the other one's weaknesses, kind of thing, and who attacks it better. Yeah, that would be a good matchup. But I mean, this is all moot point, because Turkey is going to win the whole thing anyway.
Yeah, duh. And if not Turkey, it's going to be Romania. I mean,
they're just like wasting everybody's time over here. Just give us the trophy and we'll just go home.
I was watching yesterday on BT Sports and the TNT Sports now, and they were talking about the best game of the tournament so far, and it's the Turkey game. They're like, that was a proper Euro, even a World Cup style game where like everybody's going for it. There's goals, a goal at the end. The young kid scores the most beautiful goal of the tournament so far. That was such a game. And I hope they continue like that, because I just don't want them to have that confidence. Like, we get everybody now. And they go in the second game and it's like, fuck.
This could be rough. They play Portugal, and I honestly think
I think they can beat Portugal. I really think they can.
The problem is the team is, I mean, similar to what we talked about Spain. Yes, you should have freaking watched, Ryan, instead of going around the internet talking smack about the group. I was very offended. He was like, there's nothing to watch, and he missed the best tournament of the game. But no, I feel like the same thing we were talking about Spain. The team is very, very young. So even if Turkey does not do well, it's very promising. I mean, you have the kid for Kenan Yıldız who plays for Juventus on the left wing.
Mhm.
Obviously, you have Arda. I mean, you know, Barış, even a guy like Orkun Kökçü, like from Feyenoord, like Arna's old boy. I actually thought he was like late 20s. Even he's only like 24 or something like that. So that is a very, very young team. So it's interesting. At the same time, they do make some naive decision making
Now
going
they,
on.
I saw I saw the starting 11 and I saw Yilmaz and I was like, "Oh, the fuck, Burak is back," but it's not Burak. Is that his brother?
No, like Brock is like a coach or manager
Yeah,
or
he
something
is.
now.
He is literally a coach. That's how I'm like, wait a minute. I saw him, he was bald and he gained a lot of weight and he was coaching. Why is he back? Are they that desperate?
No, he's like Barış Yılmaz. I don't think they're related at all. Barış actually plays for Galatasaray. The only weird, and that's the thing that I really liked. I mean, we talked shit about Southgate. For once, I felt like Turkey has a manager who does not have to make substitutions to change things. Like a simple thing about moving Barış to the wing because he's really fast and moving Arda to the middle. If he doesn't make that little tweak, Arda is not in that position to take the ball where he did. He would be
Yeah.
out in the wing
Yep, to
where
be able to
Barış
drift.
is.
Yeah.
So
Now the
by
question
making
is,
that little adjustment and bringing him to the more center of the pitch, he's able to get that ball and look up. And I knew he was going to crank one up the moment he freaking like turned around. And that was like reminding me of Mo's goal against Chelsea.
against Chelsea, exactly. He took it and then, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So the question is this the first time a Turkish national team picks players based on form and not based on merit or history with the team?
Honestly, there's a little bit of like drama as always because the head of the federation is Alton Top, who those two brothers were around
Yep.
forever and they're like Galatasaray ties and stuff. So like they pick some guys to the squad so they can build the market for Galatasaray so they can sell and stuff like that. So there's always drama back home between Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. How many players? I mean,
Yeah.
even when I was a kid, like the rosters would come out and
It's how it goes.
back then. You are right though. There was a bit more of six from you, six from you,
Yeah.
and then four from Besiktas, and that's how the now because all the players are playing all over Europe nobody's really looking at that numbers. And really, Arda is seen as a Fenerbahce player at the end of the day when he plays.
Doesn't matter where he is, it's where he
Yeah,
came
because
from.
you'll see a lot of comments on social media. They're like, I'm not a Fenerbahce fan, but yeah, Arda is amazing and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Like, he's still a Fenerbahce player or whatever. But hey,
It's
maybe we'll
funny that,
loan him back or something. I think his market is just going to go crazy by
but
the end
it's
of the
so
tournament.
funny. The Syrian national team manager Cooper, he just he just resigned because he was making his selection for the next round of the World Cup qualifiers, and they're like, "Oh, you got to get this guy and this guy." He's like, one of them is 39 and he hasn't played for the national team in like 9 years. Like, yeah, but he's pro president, so he has to play. And he's like, the fuck, no. They're like, okay, if he doesn't play, you don't coach. He's like, no, I don't coach. I'm out. And he left
Speaking of
after like,
Cooper, by the
yeah,
way,
yeah, after 4 games on charge, he just dipped. He's like, I'm good.
I mean, even like Major League Soccer, there was like a thing about how many players. There was like a little quota in terms of how many
Yeah,
players they had to take from Major League Soccer and stuff like that. And like I say, that's the problem with international soccer. There's a lot of politics involved, and that's why when we talked a lot about Klopp and the German national team and stuff, that was like two of the reasons. Like one of the bigger reasons was he kind of likes building a team, and you don't get to do that in the national team. You don't get to like practice with them and
right.
build over time and improve things. And two, there's politics involved. And if somebody keeps going to Klopp and saying like, I don't care if Miller is 53, he has done a lot for this team and he's still going to be here.
I'm almost certain that's the case right now. Almost certain that is the case. I mean, Kane came into Bayern, benched him, which totally no problem. He's okay with it. And then he somehow makes the German team. And when he's coming on as a substitute, they're talking about him again like he's 21 still. Oh, with the young talent. Young who? He's 47. Nah, but yeah. But I want to go back to the Italy game real quick. All the talk, all the eyes were on the Italian center back, Calafiori. What did you think of him? Minus the own goal, okay?
Yeah, sure, why not? Kind of a thing. I think he's pretty. I like how he is on the ball, actually. Like in terms of like his
Matip style.
pass. Yes, right. Like he's very. He almost plays similar to like a Gomez like player. It looks more of a right back playing center back as opposed to a center back playing center back. The way he is for a big dude,
Yeah.
He's very in charge of his feet, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, do you think he would suit Liverpool?
I mean, I can't see a reason why not. I can't give you. I haven't seen enough of him to give you a reason of yeah, this doesn't fit or anything like that. I like the fact that, like I say, he's comfortable with his feet, like comfortable on the ball, and he has space. So, like it's used to high line. So I don't see another reason. I mean, I'm sure there are other names out there. That's why people are like, if you don't want him, who do you want? It's
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, correct? Like in terms of like his stats and his strengths and stuff like that, I think he's a good fit. Will they agree on the price, or is it just are we just being used to get more out of Juventus? I'm not sure.
Yeah, what I like about the kid is he reminds me of the good old classic Italian defending. The Nestas, the Maldinis, the Cannavaros, these guys that, would just die for the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him. And I feel like the Premier League could use a little bit of that.
Any concern though that Italian players do not tend to do well in the Premier League?
And that was the next question, but he's Italian. Do you think it'll work out? I mean, we picked up Andre Dosena and he was one of the best left backs in Italy. And then he came in here and he was like, how do you play? And then Chelsea picked up Zappacosta and he was, his debut, he makes that run from the left, scores. And then the second game is like, what's a football? So I don't know. Would it work out? That's the question. We got Akulani and he played 4 minutes and then he was like, let me show you my inner Thiago. So you really don't know.
Yeah.
But he's a defender and he's a center back. You don't really need much. You just need to stay back there and kick everybody's ass.
Yeah, but actually, that's what I like about him. I actually think it's the other way around. He's not the usual Italian, slide 2 feet in,
Yeah.
kind of like a center back. He looks a lot more refined and he's really good on the ball. I think the biggest thing about center backs now is, and that's why people are like, oh, like Nat. I mean, if you want somebody who's going to put his head in everything, just keep Nat Phillips and start him over there. It's just a matter of how good you are on the ball is, I think, like the most important characteristic now, because you got to be able to, that enables you to build that play from the back. I mean, I'll take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and let's shift it a little to the Copa America.
I guess, sure.
Argentina, Canada. Did you see the game?
No.
Okay. Thank you for listening, guys. But no, I thought, yeah. Anyways, my favorite thing.
Is it weird, or does it rub people the wrong way? Angel was asking me this. How is Messi over there trotting around when he rarely plays for Miami?
Yeah. And, it's funny. The commentators were talking about how the stadium is sold out, but not many people know what's going on. They're just there to see Messi. And they're like, this is a different support than we saw in the Qatar World Cup, because the Qatar World Cup, the Argentinians flew to Qatar and they were supporting him hard. In these games, it's just people who just want to see Messi. They're not there to support Argentina. They're just there to see him. He did miss some crazy chances, lots of one-on-ones. He missed quite a few. One of them he tried to chip the keeper and it just didn't reach. And, it looked weird. And then Martinez comes on, kills the game, which always happens for Argentina. Then he goes back to Inter and he's like, what are you doing? But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good game. But the reason why I brought it up is Jesse March, the guy who's managing Canada, their coach. He was interviewed by the U.S. men's national team and they didn't hire him. And he spoke about it and he said, they treated me bad. I think that is a bad opportunity for the U.S. to improve the game, because Jesse March is one of those young managers who know the game.
Wait, Jesse March said the U.S. Federation treated him bad?
Yep, in the interview, he said they treated me badly. So I don't know what they did. They were probably like, so why do you want to be a coach? Well, shut up. It's something along those lines.
No one cares.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but he said they treated him badly. So yeah, overall, I think that is a missed opportunity for the U.S. because I think he could have improved the team. Just look at the way Canada played yesterday against Argentina on just 3-week notice. He has only been coaching for 3-4 weeks over there. But my favorite thing about Copa America.
Here we go.
If you watch the Fox coverage.
Oh, God.
Carly Lloyd standing next to, I think it was Alexi Lalas. And she says, and the nice thing about the Copa America, we saw players like Maradona. We saw players like Messi. And of course, in Europe, we're seeing players like Bellingham. But now it's time for the up-and-coming Christian Pulisic. And she went on to compare him to Messi and Maradona. And I just wanted to end it all right there. And that is, my friends, the Fox coverage of soccer in the world right now. So, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because yesterday, what was the game that we were watching and it ended? I can't remember. We were watching a game with Angie, so it was the 11 o'clock game probably. The game ended, and then they went the herd, right? So like there's a dude over there on the like his sidekick. I don't know. Usually it's like they put a girl over there. She must be off or something. They had this little dude sitting there. And he's like, oh, yeah, I was asking the guys, because it sounds like he doesn't know anything about soccer. Like, they were telling him it's a good tournament kind of thing. And then the dude says, whatever, Calvin Hurd, is that what his name is? Whatever his name.
Yeah, yeah.
He said something like, oh, yeah, I like really like the Euros because you get to see some of the young guys you're going to see in the World Cup. Like, it's like a fucking preseason or something. Or like every team in the Euros and then goes to the World Cup or something like that. And I was like, God, yeah, if you don't know anything, you don't have to say anything. Just move on and be like, I know Fox is hosting and you guys are going to act like it's the best thing, guys, and stuff like that. But Sergi says, I hate Lalas. I mean, honestly, man, I literally turn off the studio instantly. Lalas always miss the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, Lalas, he was talking about the England team. Did you guys see the video of Sturridge? He's like,
I thought Sturridge was gonna like slide tackle his ass.
Yeah, like listen, Sturridge is like, I'm just here for the money, but fuck this. Like, like this is not it. This is blood money at this point. Like he was just over it. And Lalas just kept going. And then he goes, you guys need to figure it out. And Sturridge is like, oh my God, stop. I thought that was great. That sums it all up.
I like how he was talking to Serge like he's in charge or something like that. Like, you can come to me and be like, how come Turkey's playing 5 in the back, man? Like, I don't know.
Serge was like, dude, I got the same job as you, bro. I'm just getting paid a little more. Like, relax. Like, it was, it's fun. But the Carly Lloyd saying Pulisic is the next Maradona and Messi, I've been thinking about it all night yesterday. I woke up this morning and I was like, I gotta mention this.
Woke up in the middle of the night and sweats. You're like,
no.
Okay, I mean, how old is he now?
He is not young and upcoming anymore.
That's what I was just gonna say. I mean, we've been saying this he's 25, so he's still relatively young.
Yeah, but just not upcoming to be Messi or Maradona.
No, I mean,
yeah,
Jesus. I mean, not even like I wouldn't even start the conversation. First of all, the dude is injured half the time. He's a good player. I almost feel like that's the biggest mistake that U.S. soccer does is they're trying to, and I know in the U.S. sports is like a star-driven thing, so they're trying to find like the face of the team and stuff. I almost feel like it's an unfair to a young squad that has so much talent that they're trying to. But everybody, I mean, that should be a team like Spain, right? Where everybody is around the same level. Everybody's pretty solid, plays in Europe, in good leagues and good teams and stuff like that. The goal should be to get him to play well together as opposed to try to force a face that, you can put on the posters and stuff like that.
I remember when he scored a goal for Chelsea a few seasons ago and like ESPN covered, the goal. And the LeBron James of soccer has scored a goal. I'm like, the what of who?
The what?
And it was, you literally Googled the YouTube clip, the LeBron James of soccer, Christian Pulisic. I'm like, okay, that's not even his name, brother. Like, what are we doing here? But he's LeBron James of soccer. He's the next Messi, Maradona. And we got to stop the hate because, it's fine. I'm all for Greg Berhalter. I love the guy. And I just think Jesse Marsch is a lost opportunity because Jesse Marsch could have gotten the Maradona Messi out of Pulisic. And that's
bring out the Maradona that's buried deep inside.
He might be as good as him he was then. Yeah, no, I agree now that you say it that way. Yeah. He's as good as a dead Maradona. I'll give you that.
They did not give him reckless coffee. They treated him bad and gave him shit coffee. Like I still don't understand they treated him bad thing, but I think it goes back to what we were talking about like 20-30 minutes ago. There's a lot of politics involved. It's not who's the best for the job ultimately.
I mean,
like who knows
the US men's national team, the coaching job is all politics. Everything going on with that job has been political. Not like Democrat, Republican, but like political as in soccer politics, like the
Yes.
whole story. I don't want to go through it. I get pissed every time I think about the Renas. So yeah, I'm done. You know.
Hey, coach, how come my son doesn't play? Why are you
Yeah,
putting him in
exactly.
goal? Like,
Hey, I brought oranges. What is this? You know, like that's exactly what is happening. And the last thing today, Netherlands, France. Who you got?
damn, that's today, huh? That's something to
That's
look forward
three
to.
o'clock our time, so 2 o'clock for you.
I'll go with France.
Ooh.
Just a better midfield. I'm not rooting for him.
Yeah, yeah,
You didn't say like who you're rooting for. You said who do you pick? I think
yeah.
I'd pick France. They just have that. I think they just have a much more solid midfield. They're missing way too many midfielders in Netherlands. That's the only problem. By the way, so that's available in Patreon now. Let's do some plugs. I did finally get a chance to right before Arna came out and talked. I got a chance to talk to the Sporters Club in Netherlands, Kim from the Sporters Club there. So do tune into that. There should be a couple of shorts already out on our YouTube channel, but the full episode is on Patreon already and available for free. So you can subscribe for free and get access all summer to our Patreon content. So I would definitely check that out. It was very interesting to get, she's a Rotterdam fan. So who is Feyenoord's basically rival.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing the city, and it was like kind of nice to get her perspective on Slot as opposed to, obviously, I think if we talk to Feyenoord fans, you're going to get some bias. So it's going to be like us talking about club or something like that. So it was like really good, interesting to get perspective. Obviously, she's very, we talked a lot about Netherlands as well. So they're very optimistic about it. But I have you seen their fans and stuff? I don't know if it's the orange color that makes it look cool. But speaking of fans, man, we can go for hours with this Euro coverage. The Scotland game, I mean, what the hell was going on? Because the entire game they drooled over Scottish fans, which I got nothing against Scottish fans, but I'm pretty sure because I saw some people wearing red and white, and I'm pretty sure they were rooting for Switzerland. So there were some Swiss fans in the stands, and they acted like they were not even there. They were like, "These fans deserve." I'm like, "You're gonna be shitting me."
All fans deserve something, not just those guys. Everybody, yeah. The Scottish fans showed up in numbers, and obviously outside of the stadiums, they got their drums and their music and everything. But during the game, there's fans of both countries. But the Scottish fans were louder. But like these fans deserve more, bro. Every single team out there has fans, and they all deserve more. Nobody deserves to lose 8-0. Trust me on that one. Like everybody deserves more. So yeah, that's a stupid narrative. But yeah, the Scottish fans have been
for a lot less rowdy. They're going around like trying to sell clocks or something. They're like, "This is really finely made." But but yeah, I was just driving me nuts. That's the only thing. Initially, I was watching it through the Turkish broadcast, and I might actually go to that. Some really stupid, funny stuff is being said, but none of this over the top, especially on games that are not Turkey. It's a lot less biased, I should say.
I was watching Spain, Italy. I was at work, so I was playing it on TV, and I got Fox over there. And it was the two commentators during the game. It was like minute 59 or 64, whatever. And they're talking about Taylor Swift. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And the problem with American commentators, what they don't understand is it's okay to go silent when there's nothing going on. But they like to keep filling in. So they just ended up talking about Taylor Swift. And I'm like,
they treat it like a baseball game. Like they're
they just keep going and going. And like, yeah, so hey man, did you see that Taylor Swift tour? What's funny? It's a question. Why is it funny? It's just they just try to fill it in. It's just like why I don't like watching an Arabic commentary. Because Arabic commentary, if there's a goal, it's so much fun. But like the game is going and there's nothing going on. So the guy just starts saying poems about the players. Messi. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you?
That's what I'm afraid of. Turkey plays Portugal tomorrow, and it's just going to be, it'll probably be like Ian Dark, who hates foreigners overall, especially like Turks and stuff. He's going to just freaking be drooling over everything Ronaldo does, even when
just like one of our Discord members.
Yes, exactly. So it's going to be, I think and I might just have to watch that in Turkish or in silence or in Spanish or something, because it's just going to be nauseating. But that's tomorrow, so I have today. So yeah, now you got me excited about today's.
I got a draw today. I think it'll go like a 2-2. Both teams will score. Both teams will attack.
Flashback. What are you betting on this Netherlands-France game?
Yeah, quick. What's the bet?
That's the line. That is the line. Real quick, before we go off air, tell everybody what you're betting so they bet the other.
Guys, whatever football flashback tells you, read it,
God
split it,
damn
do
it,
the
we're
other
losing
thing. Oh
tomorrow.
my God. I put money on Turkey to win 3-1 tomorrow. Congratulations, Portugal, on the 7-0 victory.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't care as long as Turkey doesn't get smashed. I think by getting 3 points, they're halfway there into the next round. And then once you
Yeah.
get, it's almost like once you get into the tournaments, kind of a conversation. But on that note, let's wrap it up. So you're going with a draw. I'm going with
a
the
draw.
France win. Hopefully it'll be a fun game and not a cagey one. There's a lot of like good people over there. So, but on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'll be back Monday morning, hopefully talking about a Turkey victory with Mateusz over here. Until then, enjoy your reckless. Philip is going with 3-1 France, by the way. Yeah, see, I can use like a open game. That's all I really want. An open game that's like fun to watch and not everybody just like playing extremely careful and stuff.
Van Dijk ain't conceding 3.
Famous last words. Okay, let's see how that goes with no midfield in front of him. But hey, have an excellent weekend, everybody. Enjoy the Euros and Copa America now started to. So I think you can literally start at 8 in the morning and watch soccer all the way till like midnight now. So just file the divorce paperwork and move on. I'll see you guys Monday morning. Take care.